Protests continue to rock the country over the police killings of Eric Garner and Mike Brown. These protests have even spread to professional athletes like NFL players, NBA players, and the National Spelling Bee Hall of Socially Inept Champions. But something interesting connects the cops who committed these horrible acts. Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, and even a third cop, Timothy Loehmann, the Cleveland officer who shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice. All three have past records that are spottier than the skin of a 17-year-old meth addict working as a French fry cook at McDonald's. You know, it's not easy to be a meth head and hold down a job, so I think that joke was really celebrating that young man. Before killing Mike Brown, Darren Wilson worked at a police force that was so corrupt and racist, the entire force was fired and disbanded. Can you fathom how racist you have to be viewed by authorities as way too racist in Missouri? In Missouri, this is not the accepting, loving paradise of Oregon, where it's considered tough to get elected if you're not transgender. This is Missouri, and the good old boys in power there had a meeting where they thought that police force is really racist. All right, I mean, it's making us polite, functionally racist people look bad. We got to put that entire force out to pasture, all right? So they fired the force, and then the Ferguson PD apparently saw Darren Wilson's resume and thought, too racist, huh? I like the cut of this young man's jib. We could use someone who really sees color. Daniel Pantaleo, the cop who choked Eric Garner to death, has been sued not once, but 3 times for violating the rights of black New Yorkers. But don't worry, he's not alone. Misconduct allegations against city police officers filed with the Civilian Complaint Review Board dropped to 11,500 in 2013, the lowest total in a decade. 11,000. That means you could take the number of NYPD officers with misconduct allegations against them and overflow the 10,000-seat Mohegan Sun Arena during the upcoming Kenny Rogers Christmas Spectacular. If you wanted to create the most uncomfortable outing for a Muslim American family in history. Finally, there's Officer Timothy Loehmann, who killed a 6th grader within 2 seconds of arriving on the scene because the boy was holding a toy gun, even though Loehmann was repeatedly told by the dispatcher the gun looked fake. Loehmann, it turns out, was deemed unfit for duty a full 2 years prior when he worked in a different suburb. His superior officers said of his firearm training, he could not follow simple directions, could not communicate clear thoughts, and his handgun performance was dismal. Could not communicate clear thoughts! Could communicate clear thoughts! Jesus, are you kidding me? Imagine you've got a guy walking around who's like, peanut butter needs to go empty pants, boom shakalaka. And you then hand him a gun and bullets. I could see giving him like a rubber band on the finger thing, maybe, or like a koosh ball he could fling. But a real gun? We have a guy around the office here. We don't leave alone with the stapler because he watches The Real Housewives. Point is, not only are these officers not held accountable for these horrible incidents, but also everyone should have seen these catastrophes coming. When you create an environment in which cops aren't held accountable for anything, they just keep getting crazier and crazier. Investigative reporter Matt Taibbi spent time looking into what goes on in New York and wrote, if you really feel like it, you can definitely sue the NYPD. You might even win, but there's not necessarily any consequence. In fact, when there are successful lawsuits, individual officers typically aren't even informed of it. They're not even informed. Not even a phone call, a Snapchat, something. We don't seem to look after police departments even as well as we look after our teeth. You have a cavity or gum disease, you take steps to fix the problem. Keep your mouth cleaner. Stop brushing your teeth with saltwater taffy and vodka, right? You do that so you don't completely end up with a rotted out mouth. But with our police departments, we find out we have a cavity and we don't clean it up. We don't say, hey, get the hell out of here, you megalomaniacal freak show. And then we act surprised when all the teeth are screwed up. Wait, are we still talking about teeth? But really, you thought you were going to get restraint and thoughtful action from the guy with the roid rage walking around going, peanut butter needs to go empty pants, boom shakalaka. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., the belly of the police industrial complex. This is Redacted Tonight. Welcome to Redacted Tonight! How is my elite VIP studio audience doing? I'm your host, Lee Camp. Now let's take the news from behind. We start with the too hot to handle CIA torture report that everyone is talking about. Steamy torture reaction, wet t-shirt contests, and more. Unfortunately, those wet t-shirts are from waterboarding. But still, it's wet, it's a shirt, how picky can you be? And just imagine how hot it would have been if they had been Jell-O boarded, huh? Don't make Bill Cosby Jell-O pudding joke! Okay, let's dig into this torture report. The extensive report says the CIA tortured a lot of people in totally horrific ways and gained nothing from it. Not a single imminent threat was interrupted by their actions. Not a single high-level terrorist mastermind was captured. That's it. That's all you need to know. All the blah, blah, blah on the news doesn't matter. All you need to know is our CIA ceded the moral high ground. Nay, teabagged the moral high ground. Teabagged it and then turned around and looked at us like we were all the weirdos. Just going, what? What? I love teabagging, all right? They call me Earl Grey. They do. I am the Earl of morality. And that concludes your torture report summary. Over the weekend, Michigan Republicans in the State House passed a bill called the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which looks something like this. But even just from the name alone, Religious Freedom Restoration Act, you can tell it's going to be something terrible. Like music by the rapper Shorty Stain. Real guy. You never hear someone go, I am flabbergasted, this Shorty Stain album is not up to par, all right? I had such high expectations from the entire Soiled Underwear posse. The bill allows basically anybody anywhere to avoid doing a service or a job for someone because of their deeply held religious beliefs. It would allow a physician to avoid giving life-saving treatment to someone because they're gay. It would allow a DMV employee to refuse to give a driver's license to someone who's divorced. First of all, who exactly decides how deep someone's religious beliefs are? Are they going to hire people to walk around and go, whoa, I can feel it. I can feel it. Not coveting your neighbor's oxen is like so deep in you. So deep. Those oxen are so very not coveted. But in all honesty, this is actually really exciting for me because I have deeply held religious beliefs. Like from the Bible verse Numbers 31:32. The plunder remaining from the spoils was 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who had never slept with a man. That's right, I believe virgins should be spoils of war. Yeah, which is why I've gotten so involved in cupcake wars. All you gotta do is fly to Detroit, defeat some people in a bake-off, boom, you get their daughters. The trip pays for itself. I also deeply believe in Deuteronomy 22:11. You shall not wear a material mixed of wool and linen together. Yes, I have been going to Michigan and stoning to death every heathen in a cable knit sweater. Don't make Cosby sweater joke! Anyway, point is, I love this Religious Freedom Act. Glad it passed the State House already. If for some bizarre reason you don't want it to become law, you should probably call the governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, and tell him to veto it. But I would never encourage that. I can't even legally give out his number on national television. Besides, if he vetoes this, there will be linen wool blends and gay people everywhere, all right? It'll be like a gay LL Bean catalog. So it'll be like an LL Bean catalog. We switch now to Hershey's. The company says it will likely stop using high fructose corn syrup and instead switch to sugar after public outcry over health concerns. So is this a good thing? Should we be celebrating our newfound healthiness if we're, one of the people who eats upwards of 10 pounds of Hershey's chocolate a day? Should we? Here to teach us more is senior corn analyst Abby Feldman. How are you, Abby? You know, Abby, when we first hired a senior corn analyst, I wasn't sure we'd need one, but I was wrong.
Yet again, Lee. Yet again.
So, Abby, is it safe for us to consume all these corn products, is it?
Well, nearly 90% of our corn is genetically modified, so it's good for us.
What?
By eating corn that's not meant for human consumption, we're becoming superhuman.
It sounds like we're eating poison.
Yeah, but Romeo and Juliet took poison.
They died.
Their love was preserved for all eternity.
They died.
You can't prove that.
They're fictional.
Aren't we all? Look, most GMO corn has a toxin in it that makes insects explode when they eat it. So if we can eat that, then clearly we're evolving into a new explosion-resistant species. See? I didn't explode.
Last time you did that, we had a real mess on our hands. But anyway, so you're telling people to eat this toxic corn.
Well, it's the only way to protect yourself, because you are what you eat, and GMO corn can't clog your liver, destroy your kidneys, or give you diabetes if you are GMO corn.
What about just avoiding foods made from corn?
You can't avoid it, Lee. Corn is everywhere. It's in 3 out of every 4 items in a grocery store. I mean, it's in everything from meat to diapers. And I've cut down on my diapers, but meat? Even if you're a strict carnivore, you're still a cornivore, because our livestock is fed so much of it that burgers are pretty much just cow-flavored corn patties.
Last time you cut down on your diapers, we had a real mess on our hands. I'm just saying. But look, cows fed only on corn, they end up sickly and prone to illness, so we end up having to pump them full of antibiotics to deal with this. 70% of the antibiotics we use in this country are on factory-farmed animals.
Exactly, I know. That's where they got the saying, a chicken nugget a day keeps the doctor away.
Not a saying. Not a saying. And our corn-filled diets lead to allergies, gastrointestinal problems, autoimmune diseases.
Yes, and
right?
that's why we need those antibiotic-filled nuggets, because at the first sign of symptoms, I can just pop a few whole, you know? I save the dipping sauce for my penicillin. Makes the flavors pop.
Sounds like a real party.
It is. And the party is about to get a little wilder.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Well, you haven't seen my corn commercials? They're all over TV.
They are? You're a corn star? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you brought some of those in. Do we have one of those ads? Let's take a look at that.
Corn is my favorite food. Just saying corn makes my mouth water. Corn. 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 Corn is your favorite food, too, because it's in all your food. It's even in salt. Run out of popcorn? Reach for a salt packet. Table salt has dextrose, which comes from corn. It's like a tiny bag of popcorn. Don't limit yourself to mealtime. Enjoy corn all the time. While brushing your teeth, stop spitting and start swallowing. That minty sweetness comes from sorbitol, made from corn. Or freshen your breath with Windex. It's packed with corn-derived 2-hexoxyethanol, acetic acid, ethanolamine, fragrance, and artificial colors. Not corny enough? Sprinkle on some Splenda. It has maltodextrin, made from corn. Fruits and vegetables are coated in synthetic corn products to make them look fresh and shiny. I just lick the corn off them. In America, our streets are paved with corn. Bricks and cement are made with calcium stearate from corn. Follow the yellow brick road of corn. Corn is in gasoline. Corn is in makeup. Corn is in me. It's in you. It's in all of us. We are corn. 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 It's what's for everything.
Abby Feldman, everybody! All right, we have to go to break, but you should watch this first commercial. It's for an amazing new dietary supplement. And I was curious, what does dietary supplement even mean? Are they regulated to make sure people are getting what they pay for? Well, the answer is kind of complicated. Let me read you this quote from the FDA's website. Are dietary supplements approved by the FDA? No. So, kind of confusing there. Not sure what they're getting at, but I am a big fan of the supplement in this ad. Check it out.
Sometimes you just need a little boost in the gym. Something to make you bigger, stronger, faster, maybe even hotter, if that's possible. Mwah. Something to give you an extra edge out on the field. Something to help you kick. Well, it's here. A new nutritional supplement that will put you at the top of the heap, the front of the pack, the edge of the thing with the edge of something that's intense. Whatever. It's called placebo. And considering nutritional supplements are hardly regulated, they can put whatever the they want in there. That's why each bottle of placebo is different. Sometimes you might get ancient Chinese herbs designed to make you more powerful than a god. Sometimes you might get pure, uncut cocaine. One time I even got a live hamster. The point is, no matter what is or is not in each bottle, the results are unquestionable. Before placebo, I was a after placebo, I made Hercules look like a Welcome to anti-regulation paradise. You can be anything you want with placebo, because it doesn't even matter what's in the bottle. Sometimes it's this stuff. Placebo works some of the time, all of the time.
It was a terrible mistake, and we're working very hard to make up for it.
And once again, we put something on the air. It's a flat-out lie.
Have you ever had sex with Governor Rick Perry?
No, wait. Do not answer that.
I want you to watch what we're about to do because you've never seen anything like this on television.
What we need is to question more and to keep it uncensored, real and raw. My simple mission is to change the globe. I'ma do it with this passion and fire with tone. These words are hard hitting, you watching me neck, but you need to tune in because we're breaking the set. Breaking the set. Breaking the set.
Welcome back. President Obama. All right, stop it. President Obama apparently noticed there were a few thousand protesters outside his door, and they were a little late to be trick-or-treaters. Plus, trick-or-treaters rarely demand racial justice. Almost never see Spider-Man go, "White chocolate, really? How do you sleep at night?" So Obama, that was funnier than you gave it credit for, especially on that side. So Obama decided to take on this country's problem with police brutality, militarization, and overreach. Problems he helped increase by allowing military weaponry to be placed in the hands of local police, who sometimes can't even follow simple directions. Directions like, place the handcuffs on the suspect's hands, you moron. Or, no, don't use your taser to heat up your burrito. Or, stop pulling over the Amish for speeding just because you think it's funny. You know, those directions. But Obama did something great. He allotted money to place 50,000 video cameras on cops, something I called for months ago here on Redacted Tonight. But you know, the president getting an idea just a mere 3 months after the preeminent comedy news show put said idea out there, that's actually not that bad. I mean, I find that if a world leader is less than a half year behind the comedians on how to fix the planet, he or she should be lauded, you know? It reminds me of the time Woodrow Wilson decided to give women the right to vote only 30 days after Groucho Marx recommended it. But immediately after that, Obama clearly began to fear that having good ideas could grow like a good idea cancer that would destroy his administration. The only cure to good idea cancer, very bad ideas. So he put the Philadelphia Police Commissioner, Charles Ramsey, in to chair his task force on policing. Ramsey was the head of one of the most corrupt police departments in the nation. There was a federal investigation into his police force for conspiracy, robbery, extortion, kidnapping, and drug dealing. You know, all the good ingredients of a killer holiday party. Also, even after pot was decriminalized in Pennsylvania, Ramsey still insisted he would keep arresting people for minor possession. But this is a good thing, because just as Obama, the first black president, showed children across America that they can be anything they want, and George W. Bush did the same for the mentally challenged. Having a quasi-corrupt, draconian police chief as one of the top cops shows even the most criminal-minded that they, too, could someday be one of the most well-respected cops in the land. But President Obama wasn't done. He also appointed a new top energy diplomat at the State Department, Amos Hochstein. In this position, he will likely be the main guy in the negotiations for a climate change deal at the UN Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so here's the question. Who would you not want negotiating a climate change deal if you at all want to save humankind from death by fire? Number 1, Kesha. Number 2, an oil lobbyist. Number 3, Broby from Yo Gabba Gabba. Number 4, an oil lobbyist. And number 5, 2 oil lobbyists. So which one of those things do you think Hochstein used to be? That's right, in 2008, working for the law firm Cassidy & Associates, Hochstein was Broby. Before he changed his name after witnessing a murder. But more importantly, Hochstein was an oil lobbyist. As DSmog blog reported, he pressured Congress on behalf of his client, Marathon Oil. So in the span of a week, Obama appointed a draconian police chief to run his task force on policing, and a former oil lobbyist to take charge of saving the planet from big oil. You know, the White House has some kind of Christmas celebration. Maybe it would help ease the racial tensions in the country if they put Megyn Kelly in charge.
And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. But, you know, Santa is what he is, and just so you know, we're just debating this because someone wrote about a kid.
And with Megyn Kelly as the Christmas czar, finally the good idea of cancer will be kept at bay. Moving on, Syria is hardly in the mainstream media anymore. It used to be wall-to-wall coverage. What happened? Luckily, we have redacted correspondent John F. O'Donnell around to get to the bottom of this. Or maybe we were tired of having him around, so we sent him out to get to the bottom of this. Either way, the important thing is I didn't have to spend the day with him. He filed this report.
All things in moderation. 4th century BC philosopher Aristotle said that, and they're the words that I've lived by my entire life. Growing up, when all my friends were shooting heroin between their toes, I was tripping on mushrooms. Moderation. U.S. Central Command will perform psych evals, biometric checks, and stress tests to make sure that Syrian rebels are not, in fact, Islamist extremists. It's certainly going to be a tough task, though, because it's believed there are as many as 1,000 different opposition groups in Syria, totaling some 100,000 fighters. And to make matters worse, Pentagon officials have quietly revealed that more than 50% of the rebel forces are part of some sort of radical Islamist group.
Some of those weapons from Benghazi ended up in the hands of ISIS. So we helped build ISIS.
And then, of course, there was back in the 80s when we armed the Afghan Mujahideen fighters who eventually turned into Al-Qaeda and the Taliban.
The people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago.
Moderation! Military officials say the program will be made up of Common Core screening protocols, such as collecting biometric data, which includes things like fingerprints, facial recognition, and retinal scans. In addition, whenever possible, the U.S. will seek information about potential rebel trainees from their home communities. And trainees' names will be run through U.S. and foreign intelligence databases. Good luck finding out if Abdul Kama FNU is the Abdul Kama FNU you're looking for, especially when FNU stands for First Name Unknown. And also, in terms of trying to get information from somebody in the community, how would that work out? Oh, excuse me, are you the mother of this guy here that I'm about to arm with a grenade launcher? Let me ask you something. Is he a jihadist? No? Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, moderation. The U.S. government has yet to finalize the actual questions that will be asked during these psychological evaluations of moderateness. But a source deep inside the Pentagon leaked a rough draft to me.
Hey, John, I found this by the printer. Is this yours? It says top secret.
Yes, that's mine. Get away from me. Get away from me. And here it is. And I cannot think of anything more patriotic than beta testing the questions in front of the fine, fine folks of Washington, D.C. What do you care about more, beer or baby elephants?
Beer.
That's pretty extreme. Wouldn't you say baby elephants are living creatures?
Yeah, but I don't have a baby elephant. I can go get a beer.
If your friends and family were bombed relentlessly by a foreign nation, would you be moderately annoyed or extremely annoyed?
I'd be extremely annoyed.
Cuando cerveza de niños elephants.
This country was founded under "In God We Trust," meaning under the one and only living God, being Jesus.
Do you prefer traditional bowling or laser light bowling with techno music?
Excuse me?
Excuse me, ma'am. If you find a full cheesecake sitting on a bench, how many slices do you eat? Who do you love more, America or Jesus?
Definitely America.
Who do you love more? Follow-up question. America or Allah?
America.
Cuando tú es, como se dice, mi español es increíble, pobre, como se dice, cuando tú, como se dice, que es el, como se dice, do you, como se dice. If a stranger asks you a question on the street with a microphone, does it make you feel extreme or moderate? If I gave you a grenade launcher, do you promise to play nice with it?
What's playing nice?
Not kill innocent civilians.
I don't know.
When you see an innocent civilian on the street, do you A, hug them, B, resent them, C, set off an IED in their vicinity?
Out of those, I would have to say hug them.
So, I'm an innocent civilian. Maybe,
These are your headlines from the future. This coming Monday, you'll read in all the papers. Former CIA Director Tenet mournfully deletes torture from the list of hobbies on his LinkedIn profile. Then coming up next week, this scandal will top the news. Senator John Boehner outed as GMO corn after tanning bed accidentally popcorns his face. This happens tomorrow. Secret Service hastily rewrite security protocols to ban squirrely reporters asking about baby elephants in front of the White House. And also we found this headline on January 10th, this upcoming January. Michigan lawmakers desperate to repeal religion law after Michael Moore insists he belongs to the Church of the Pantsless. Won't stop hanging around Capitol buildings. And we actually also sent a photographer out there. I think we have a photo. There it is. That's our show. Subscribe to our new channel at youtube.com/redacted tonight. We tape our show in front of a live studio audience in Washington, D.C. If you want to be in this audience for free, email redactedtonight@rtamerica.tv. Good night and keep fighting.